So a lot of folks have resistance band at home. One of the beauties about a resistance band is there's a ton of different exercises you can do with just one band, nothing else. So we're gonna run through a few exercises you can do without having to anchor it with anything, just using the band and your body weight. The first one is gonna be the band pull apart. So to do that, bring your hands about shoulder width apart to start. Keep the elbow straight, pull that band apart, keeping the elbow straight, pinching the shoulder blades and the upper back together, returning to the front just like that. If you find that initial hand position, shoulder width, a little too challenging, just bring the hands a little bit wider, just like so. It'll make it a little bit easier, a little less resistance. If you want a little more challenge, bring the hands in a little bit closer, narrower than shoulder width, and pull the band out, just like so. Remember, pinching the upper back together, opening the chest up, squeezing the shoulder blades together at the top. Now, the next one is going to be the fly. It's gonna be the same hand position as you used for the pull apart that we just covered. Bring the band now behind your back. Slight bend to the elbows here. Don't want to keep them totally straight. Open the chest up and then bring the hands together just like this, focusing on the chest here. So slight bend to the elbows, open the chest to bring the hands as wide apart as you can. Squeeze them together. Same thing if you want a little less resistance, hands a little wider apart, a little more resistance, bring them a little closer together. The next one is going to be the curl. This one, you'll start to use your feet on the next few exercises to help provide a little more resistance. So step onto the band. Place the band right under the arches of the feet, just like so. Grab the band. Here you're gonna have palms facing up, starting with the elbow straight at the bottom, curling up until your arms are fully flexed, like so. Control it back down, elbows extend at the bottom, squeezing right back up. Same sort of thing. To make this a little more difficult, you can either choke down on the band, just like so, to provide a little more resistance, or if you need to make it a little bit easier, you can also bring your feet a little closer together so there's a little more slack in the band, and bring your hands a little closer, just like that. Now the next one is going to be the overhead press. Going to keep the band in that same position, right under the arches of the feet, but now going to bring the band up to your shoulders, hands on the inside of it, pressing over the head, just like so. Keep those elbows in, try to keep the wrist in a pretty straight position. Push the band over your head until the arms, elbows are fully extended, just like so. Same idea for a little more resistance. Choke farther down the band, make it a little harder. Bring the hands a little closer together, a little less resistance to make it a little bit easier. Next one is going to be the tricep extension. Now, you can either do this one with one hand, two hands, just to focus on one arm at a time. If you want to do it with the one hand version, same thing. Keep the band under the arch of the feet. Bring the hand back behind the head. Elbow's going to be high, just like that. Extend the elbow at the top, just like so. Keep that elbow up, just bending at the elbow. Trying to minimize any rotation, any action at the shoulder. Full extension at the top, just like that. Do a few reps on that side. Match this number of reps on the outside as well. Same thing, if you need a little more resistance, choke up on the band a little less, choke down on it. Next one is going to be the front raise. Still keeping that band under the arches of the feet. Palms facing down on the outside of the band. Keep those elbows straight. Bring that band to the arms are level or just slightly above the shoulders, just like so. Focusing just on using the shoulder muscles to bring the band up. Next one is going to be the side raise. Now this one will be a little bit awkward, probably not doable with both arms at the same time. You might even find it a little easier to keep one foot on top of the band rather than both feet. But same thing, you're gonna keep the arms straight, bring the band out to the side till it is level, or even better, slightly above shoulder level rather, just like so. So those are a few upper body exercises you can do with the band, again, with just your body weight, don't need to fix it to anything. Now, here's a few that you can do with just the band for your lower body. The first one, you will need something to sit on, which you likely have, a chair, bench, couch, anything like that. What you're gonna do is, if you've got one looped band just like this, you wanna actually double it up just like so to make this a little bit more challenging so it'll fit around your knees. Or if you've just got a single tube or a single strand tied together so you can fit it around the outside of the knees. It's gonna look something like this. So go ahead and have a seat on the bench, a chair. Step both your legs inside of the band. Place the band just under the crease of the knee, right on top of the shin right there. What you're gonna wanna do then, walk your feet out as far as you can, way outside hip and shoulder width. Let the feet roll in, let the knees relax. and then shove the knees out as hard as you can and try to push the outside of the feet as far from each other as you can. You're trying to spread the floor between your feet, driving the knees out hard as you can. You should really be feeling that in the hips. Back in the backside is where you want to feel it. And then to relax, bring those knees together, let the feet roll in, and then drive the feet out to the sides, drive those knees out hard as you can. As you're doing this, you also want to keep the chest in a good position as well, good posture. You don't want to be rounded over as you're doing this. Keep that chest up tall, even as the knees relax, and especially as you're driving the feet and the knees out, just like so. So the next thing you can do, keep the band looped around your knees. You can even bring it up a little bit higher around your thighs. Find a little bit of space. In a similar exercise, you're just going to keep the band around your knees and then walk, just like so. You're going to step out as wide as you can, slight bend in the knees, hips slightly low, driving the knee out as far as you can. Take a couple of reps one direction, same thing. You're going to match the reps to the other direction, just like that. Another thing you can do with the band looped around the knees or the legs is facing forward then. Step out and forward as wide as you can. Kind of trace a zigzag motion forward and out. Again, trying to think about, rather than stepping the foot out as wide as you can, bring the knees out as far forward as you can. Once you take a few reps forward, start to bring it back. In the same pattern, zigzagging back, just like so. Now, a couple other lower body exercises where you can use the band. One is going to be the squat. So, set the band up just like you did for some of those upper body exercises with the band right under the arches of the feet right there. Bring the band up, kind of hold it with as much resistance as you want against the chest. Heels shoulder width apart, toes slightly turned out. Keep the knees shoved out. Squat down, lower those hips as much as you can, keeping that chest up in a tall position there, driving back up. And then same thing to make it a little easier. Choke down on the band a little bit, make it a little harder, choke up a little bit more. Now another one you could do, another lower body exercise, is the good morning. Very similar to just a strict deadlift if you're not familiar with the good morning exercise. What you're going to do here is actually place the band along your upper back, right behind the neck, like so. From here, you actually want to take about a hip width stance, pretty narrow stance. Toes are just slightly turned out from each other. With a soft bend in the knees, slight bend in the knees. Then going to hinge forward. Point your chest down. Still want to maintain a good back position. Good posture there. Then you're going to stand tall, driving your hips forward, squeezing the butt at the top. And you're going to reverse the same thing. Hinging, tight hinge at the hips there. Should feel a big stretch through the back of the legs and the hamstrings there. And then same thing, standing tall, driving the hips forward to come to a standing position, just like so. So there's a whole bunch of exercises there you can do with just a resistance band without having to hook it up to anything, just your body weight and a little bit of space. Now, in terms of the number of sets and reps to do, just do as many as you can with good technique. Doesn't matter. You can do 8, 10, heck, you can even go to 100 if you want. The idea is, though, try to do a little bit more every time you do them. So start first day one, choose a couple of exercises, do as many as you can, run through a routine of them. Next time you do it, just try to do a few more. If you've only got one band, try to adjust the resistance to make it a little bit more harder, or you can make it a little bit easier and go for more reps in ways that we talked about. Or if you have a whole handful of bands, try to gradually use more resistance, heavier bands in order to progress.